Alright, I had someone who asked for some help with his mirror setup, and it brought up a second point of something that I've wanted to make a video on, but I've never really thought what to pair it with to make it kind of useful and coherent. So, thank you. But he asked for help with his mirror setup, and this is something that I thought surely there's a million videos on YouTube of, or something. I went to go look it up, see what other people are saying. There's not a single video on YouTube of an actual mirror setup on a bike. There's how to change it physically, how to change the bolts, how to move the mirrors, but nothing that actually explains the angles and what or why people set them up. So, with that in mind, this is my opinion. I haven't gotten this from anyone. This has served me well on every type of bike I've owned, from cruiser, naked, super. But just keep it in mind, this is fully opinion, no backup on this one, because apparently no one discusses this. How weird. But it brings up a second point too, as he was a newer rider and he's having issues with thinking that he's taking his eyes off the road too much due to looking at his mirrors and shoulder checking. And I'm going to start off with that because that is an extremely important thing to keep in mind as a new rider, and it's something that most new riders do, and it's a fear of not having a full 360-degree view of everything around your person, because you want full 360-degree, but it's not possible. It's completely unreasonable to have a full 360-degree view around your body at all times. So what this leads people to do, and as you're new, and there's nothing wrong with this is just going to be kind of it's going to happen, is you're going to spend more time looking at your speedometer than you will 6 months, a year, 2 years from now. So with that, you're going to be spending time looking down. You're going to be spending time looking away from what's in front of you. What you're also going to do, and what most new guys tend to do, is they set up a loop system with the way they check their mirrors and their shoulders. So what they're doing is they look forward, and then they come down and they check their speedometer. They're looking at their tach, they're looking at their actual speed, they're thinking about what gear they should be in, and then they come over here, and then they look directly at their mirror. And they spend time looking directly at their mirror, moving their head around, trying to get an exact idea of what's going on. And they then come back to what's in front of them. And they get this loop going, whether it go like this, whether it go like this, whatever. And they're continuously going through this little loop. And they're every single time. And the problem with this is every single time they are not looking forward, they're looking at things that are irrelevant. In the most blunt way to put it, they're looking at things that they can't change, that don't really matter, and aren't an obstacle to getting them home safely that day. So when you're spending time staring down at your tach, looking at your speed, you're going to have to when you're new. There's nothing wrong with that. I would be, the biggest hypocrite on the planet to ever say don't sit there and stare at your tach when you're new, because my eyes were glued to that thing. But the quicker you can get to where you look down and then you look back up, your primary focus is what's forward, the better you're going to be. And then also, what you're doing is you're spending way too much time trying to get that full 360-degree view around your person. And it's because it's a safety cushion. Mentally, it just feels safer to know exactly what's going on around you, but you can't control what's happening behind you. You just cannot control what's going on behind you. You can control what's coming up, what you can react to. You can't do anything about the car 3 guys back. Nothing you can do about him. And you spending time focusing on that is taking away from your reaction time of what's ahead of you. And this can be a patch of gravel. This can be a guy who jutted over and slams the brakes. This could be a pedestrian, run it across. You see this in a lot of videos, is people, they do the shoulder check and they do a long shoulder check, or they look in their mirror and then they do the shoulder check and they slowly drift over and then they look up and bam, they rear into the truck because they spent so much time looking to their side, really trying to gather too much information, too much unnecessary information to get over. What you should be doing and how you should set up your mirrors, and where this becomes relevant, is your mirrors should be set up to where you do not need to move your head to get the information you need from them. And when you do have to move your head, you are looking directly, you're not looking at your mirror, okay, you're forward, and I'm going to look only to my right to cover my blind spot here and or here, and then I'm going to I'm going to check. Okay, blind, good. I'm going to look immediately back up. I'm going straight back to what's ahead of me. I'm not going from here back to my speedometer. I'm not going from here to my mirror to then my speedo, then here. I'm going here, here. Speedometer up, mirror up. Your focus should always be what's directly in front of you and what you can control and react to. Because remember, every single second that you spend looking away from what's in front of you is that many more feet you've traveled and that much less time you have to react to what may pop up. And the newer you are, the less proficient your reaction's actually going to be to that surprise break, to that surprise car that just pulled out in front of you, to that surprise turtle in the road. All of those are things that will cause you issues. Now, onto the actual mirror setup itself. I am someone who I just moved my mirrors to hopefully make this better show up on camera, and this is going to haunt me for at least a month, so you're welcome. If you're going to see me at stop signs or at red lights, pretty much everywhere, adjusting my mirrors for a month. This physically hurt me to do. But the way I set up my mirrors, and if you're in the UK, if you drive on opposite lanes, take this advice and flip it. Reverse what I'm saying, left versus right. But my right mirror is going to be set up to where it looks behind me. It is looking behind my person, behind my body. So in the mirror, right, as I'm riding around, if I'm right here, there's going to be a portion of this mirror that is going to be blocked by my body. And that is okay, because I value the information more behind me than I do that 30% extra vision that I could get into the middle of, the trees if I'm in the right lane. So if I'm right here, right, you'll notice, hopefully this still shows with me moving around a little bit, my arm is blocking 30% of that mirror. I am perfectly fine with that. No problem at all. So now as I'm looking forward, I can see out of my peripheral the car behind me's headlight. I can see behind me. I also have vision of the right lane. I can get about a half vision of anything that's relevant that's close to me, about half that lane. Anything else, anything closer, I'm going to have to shoulder check to my right. On my left, this is your mirror, and this is your, I would argue, more useful mirror in terms of, getting a reading of what you're about to do. And this mirror, I always position to where it is directly focused on the left lane. So if you notice, my arm will probably not be visible. If it is, maybe takes up like 5% of the mirror. This mirror is positioned to where it only sees the left lane behind me. Everything that I will not have two mirrors that look behind me. There's no point. I gain nothing from that. I want my left mirror, the one that I'm going to be going into merge lanes with, the one that people are going to be going faster than me and passing me on, to be able to see those guys coming up, to get a better view of the left lane, the fast lane, the merge lanes, what I'm merging into. So that one is going to be pointed more out. And what happens, right, is I'm looking through, I'm looking forward, my peripheral will tell me, because you can see movement very easy in mirrors, is instead of having to directly look at my mirror or setting them up to where I have to move my head to see what I want to see in my mirror, I have my mirror set up so when I'm looking dead forward, I see what I need to see. I'm never having to move my head to get vision in the mirrors that I need. And that's something that a lot of people do. And you see this a lot with, you just see this a lot in general, but it's not a proper setup. You're making it harder for yourself. If you have to move your head to see what you need to see in your mirror, it's not set up properly. So the way that I would tell you to go set up your mirrors, and again, reverse this if you drive on the opposite lanes, is go get in your position, however you ride your bike, hold your handlebars, and then instead of moving your head to get the mirror position you need, just move your eyes, and then adjust from there, right? So look forward, adjust, look forward, adjust, and get it to where you have one mirror that can see behind you and one mirror that's going to see the fast passing lane, the merge lanes, what you're merging into. That will make your mirror setup 100 times better. And instead of having two mirrors both doing the same function, or instead of having two mirrors that are so pointed outward that you have to move your head and actually focus your eyes for them to be useful, you get to use all of your attention and focus on looking forward on the things that you can control. So the patch of gravel that comes up while you are looking to see what that guy in the Volkswagen's doing, you don't, look up and there's a block of wood, or that guy slammed his brakes. I can see out of my peripheral that Volkswagen. I know he's coming up to my right, and I'm also able to keep my eyes forward. It'll make you so much safer. It'll make you feel so much better on your bike, having your mirrors set up to where you don't have to move your head to look at them. Okay? Hopefully this helps, and I hope that I answered your question. I still can't believe there's no videos that talk about this. That was a fascinating little find. So again, anything else you'd like me to try and help you with or cover, please ask. And I do hope that this will help. And now there's at least one video that goes over this. So thank you.